There's really no secret about our approach. We keep moving forward, opening up new doors, doing new things, because we're curious. And curiosity keeps leading us down new paths. We're always exploring and experimenting.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the ImgaineEarsDisney podcast. I am your host, Matt, and I am joined, as always, by my good friend and co-host, Susie. Hi, Susie.
Hi, Matt. How's it going on this definite Tuesday?
Definite Tuesday.
Totally Tuesday.
Totally Tuesday. I'm doing well. So
that's how calendars work.
Well, I wasn't going to announce it, but here we are. We are not live tonight. We are pre-recording this, so we are simulating this live. So
we have all a simulation.
Yes, we have a very special guest. I am so excited for tonight's episode. We were able to get in contact with him, and he was very gracious to come on and chat with us a little bit about Disney entertainment, leadership, and all sorts of things. So if you will do me the honor and please welcome Mr. Rob Lott. Hello, Rob.
Hello, everyone. Good to see you both. Good to see you both and everybody else here on this beautiful Tuesday night.
Yes. Yeah. Look at all these smiling comments that are just rolling in by the millions.
We'll be happy to answer your questions. As the comments come up, we'll be happy to answer them on Wednesday.
Yes.
But we're so glad to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
thanks so much for having me.
This is going to be so fun. We were on another podcast together a few months ago.
Yeah,
with David Dollar.
Yes, David Dollar.
It all blends together. It's hard to know how much time has passed between anything now.
Exactly. Yeah. But talking Disney music, and of course, you have a very extensive Disney music background. So we thought, we bring you on our show, steal you from Main Street Electrical Pod, and just copy their idea. But yeah, thanks for being here.
Sure thing. Happy to do it.
Yeah, Rob is a Disney performer, and he works outside the parks as well. He is an actor. He is a vocalist. He is a mime. So, Rob, just, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh my goodness. Well, so I've been performing at Disney since October of the year 2000 in various different roles, and both on stage and backstage, getting to perform in a number of different shows, a number of different roles, but then also getting the opportunity to go behind the scenes and help kind of teach new performers as they're coming in, teach them how to do what we do the way that we do it here at Walt Disney World. And then I got that itch again, and I was like, I really would love to get back on stage. And so I talked with my leadership at the time, and they said, well, this sounds like a win-win. We'll have access to you when we need you, but otherwise go ahead and follow your dreams and do the things that you want to do. And so, awesome. That was fantastic. So currently, as we record this, I am performing at the Hoop-Dee-Doo Revue most regularly, and I'm also singing with the Dapper Dans of Main Street USA, and then also down the street at SeaWorld. When you mentioned the mime thing, there's a pre-show that I do for the Sea Lion show there at SeaWorld. And it's a whole lot of fun of just as the audience is coming in, we just have a good time with the audience as they're coming in. And so, yeah, you can look up that show for those of you who maybe you didn't come here for the SeaWorld podcast,
Sure.
SeaWorld Entertainment, but SeaWorld does a fantastic job with their entertainment, and I'm happy to be a part of that family as well. And you can kind of look up some of those shows and stuff on YouTube and TikTok and all the places.
Yeah. Cool. So I know you are heavily invested in the arts. Susie and
Yes.
I both were in band growing up.
Mhm.
And
Yeah. What'd you play?
Clarinet.
Clarinet?
And then
And?
I played euphonium and tuba
Of course
for
you did.
fifth through 10th grade. I played euphonium, baritone.
Yeah.
And then they needed a tuba player, so I just
They always need
moved
tuba
over.
players.
That's
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
Matt, I have to brag on Matt because the tuba is iconic at the high school that we went to, and so
Yeah.
there's a little.
Oh gosh.
It's not a fight song, but everyone knows the tuba player in the marching band because when they start that, then the whole rest of the brass would come in, and so
the tuba kicks it off.
The
That's
tuba's
right.
iconic. Yeah.
Were you playing sousaphones?
So no, we were
Okay.
So we
Okay.
had the contra. So yeah,
Got it.
Yeah.
Over the shoulder.
Yep. And I got to tell you, so my retirement plans have been dashed because I wanted to be, I mean, with the beard and everything, I wanted to be in the band in Frontierland, but they are sadly no more. So
the Banjo Brothers and Bob. Is that who you're
Yes.
talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, they did. They had a fantastic sousaphone player there. Fun fact, their main lead banjo player, his name is Anthony Dixon, and he is now our main lead banjo player at the Hoop-Dee-Doo Revue. So you can
Fantastic.
still
Love
get
that.
a taste. You can still get
Oh,
a taste
good.
of the Banjo Brothers and Bob. Yeah.
Gosh, I'm planning. I'm trying to find a date for the Hoop-Dee-Doo. Shows are selling out. Like,
Are you trying to
so
find a date like somebody to go with, or find a date that you can go?
So I have a date.
I was about to say, is Becca watching tonight?
My lovely wife will definitely be going. Contemplated going down for my birthday in September. I want to take my parents because they've never been.
Oh,
Oh,
your
my
parents
goodness.
would love it.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're
Yeah.
not the best show at Walt Disney World, but we are the most fun you ever had.
I don't know.
Oh
It might
no,
be
an
the best
argument
show.
can be made. It is.
Well,
It really is great.
It's funny. Yeah, the original director was famous for saying that. Billman. Larry Billman was the original director, creator of the Hoop-Dee-Doo Revue, and he would always say, nobody should leave here going, oh my goodness, that was the best show I've ever seen. They should leave here going, that was the most fun I ever had. And in so doing, they will think it's the best show that they ever saw because it was the most fun that they ever had.
Well, they're
So
going to
aim
remember
for
that
fun.
feeling more than
That's
the
right.
technical. And that's not bashing on all the
No,
amazing things you
no,
guys
yeah.
do, but you want that feeling when you walk out of, total that smile more than anything.
Absolutely. I mean, there's I imagine we'll get in further into this kind of conversation, but every show at Walt Disney World has a creative intent behind it. How do we want you to feel as you are experiencing the show? How do we want you to feel as you are leaving the show? And every show is different, and every show has different things that we want you to experience, different emotions that we want you to have. And so that's why we say we're not the best show at Walt Disney World. We can't be, that's subjective. But we can aim to be the most fun you ever had. And our show's not necessarily for everyone, but for us on stage and for those of us in the hall, we are aiming to give people the most fun they ever had. And let Fantasmic be the best show you ever seen. Let the fireworks and the whatever's going on, whatever your favorite thing, let that be the best show you've ever seen. We're going to be the most fun.
It really is the most fun. And I have to say, the next of skin joke is maybe one of my favorite jokes of all time. I don't want to spoil it for you. You have to go see it for yourself. So go to the Hoop-Dee-Doo Revue.
Yes,
for the jokes and for the fried chicken.
And I'll tell you, it is true. You do need to get up early to secure yourself a spot. But at the same time, they're gettable, because the reason I know that is because people are getting them.
Solid logic. People are showing up. So
yeah,
we are both travel agents, and I actually booked a group of 6 for September. So a lot of first timers, so they are going to have a blast. I have no doubt. So
great.
So let's backtrack just a little bit. How did you get from college, studying what you were studying, to Walt Disney World?
Yeah. So let me just make a quick slight correction, and that is that I never went to college. So I graduated right out of high school, and the story goes that as I was growing up in school, I've just always been one of those people who always knew what he wanted to do. It wasn't until I got to Orlando, got to Walt Disney World, and surrounded myself with other people like me that I realized, oh, there is such a thing as knowing what you've wanted to do your entire life. I always knew that I wanted to work in show business in some way, shape, or form. And I just, frankly, any if there was a stage, if there was a microphone, I would find my way toward it. My parents have stories of us going to Chuck E. Cheese, and when the lights would come up on those animatronic rodents, that singing about pizza and doing happy birthdays and doing all kinds of crazy stuff with automated flag waving and things like that. I couldn't, my eyes were just glued to it, and I would get upset if somebody tried to get me to eat the pizza while the show was happening, because I was like, no, there's a show happening. We all stop what we're doing and we watch the show. And so I've just always been so enthralled, so drawn in show business and entertainment in general. And so as I was growing up in grade school and then middle school and then high school, I just always wanted more arts classes, more theater classes, more music classes. And they were like, well, really, when you get into junior high, you'll be able to do more of that. And I got into junior high and they were like, well, really not until you get into high school are you going to get to do all that stuff. And I get into high school and they go, well, not really until you're an upperclassman are you going to get to do. And I was like, I want to start. I'm ready to start. And I talked to my friends who had graduated and gone on to college and they were studying theater. And I said, how is it? What's it like? You're getting to focus on it and pay attention and only do theater. And they go, well, we're not really. We still have to do like all these gen ed stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm out. I don't want to do it. So I will say, like, I was all set and ready to go to Ohio State. I was hoping to go to the Ohio State University and march in the Ohio State University marching band. That was the goal. That was the dream. But I was all set and ready to go there. But a buddy of mine said, hey, they're having auditions down in Orlando. And I think you might be right for this. And so I came down rather. And I went down from Ohio and I auditioned, and I kind of said to myself, okay, I'm not going to, if I get the gig, then I'll go down that path. But otherwise, I'm going to go to Ohio State and study music, and I'll figure it out. But I was just really hoping to be able to just get started. And so I auditioned and I got the gig. And like I said, that was in October. I started in October of 2000. And haven't really looked back. I've gotten to do a whole lot of different things. When I first started performing, I was performing at a show called Legend of the Lion King.
Right.
And there was still a friend to this day, and her name is Jamie Donmoyer, and she said, Rob, I can tell you're ambitious. I can tell that you want to do more. You want to be involved in more. You have a talent and you want to use it. I get that. Disney is a really easy place to get settled and comfortable and not push yourself, because the job is always here. The work is always here. So set yourself a limit and then get out and go somewhere else and do something else. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And so what I did was I set myself a 5-year limit with a caveat. And the caveat was, okay, at the end of 5 years, if I'm not doing anything new or interesting, then I'll leave. Then I'll get out and I'll go somewhere else and do something else. And I'll tell you, I've never gotten to that 5-year mark where I wasn't doing something new and interesting, because there's always something new and interesting that's coming. There's always these new projects. And like I said, I was able to kind of switch back and forth of backstage and on stage and being in production meetings, sitting in on creative meetings, sharing my thoughts of how things ought to go, but then also being able to influence on stage and, give audiences great experiences and be a part of that. So I've not hit that limit of 5 years yet, because I just every time I creep up on 5 years, a new fun opportunity comes along. And so I've not had a reason to leave.
Yeah.
I love that.
You've been all over the place,
Yeah.
Legend of the Lion King. And I missed that show. Like,
me too.
Look,
that was, as I understand it, that was the first time on a Disney theme park stage that a character died right there in front of everybody. Mufasa.
Oh no.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever saw it. My first trip was
fantastic.
Look,
I mean, I was.
if Frozen can have a sing along and a ride, why can't we have a Lion King puppet show and Festival of the Lion King? I
Right.
think we
Well,
can
and
make
that was the concern, is that we were oversaturated at the time. We had Legend of the Lion King, we had Festival of the Lion King, we had Lion King on Broadway. We also had parades that had all kinds of Lion King connections, as well as over there at Epcot, there was that thing over in the land that was hosted by Timon and Pumbaa.
Oh gosh.
Oh yeah.
And Circle of Life Theater. I forget the
Yeah.
name of it, but
environmental table. Yeah.
yeah, but there was a concern of like, okay, all right, we got a lot of Lion King going on, so how can we adjust some things? And of course, Festival of the Lion King, rightfully so, had no business going anywhere. They were going to keep that open, and so yeah, it was time. But also, you know, it was time, as is always true, just like you said in the opening package, that we always keep moving forward, trying new things, doing
right.
different things. So yeah, I too love Legend of the Lion King, and it will live forever on YouTube.
Yes, it will. And I think you went out to Tokyo Disney Sea for
I
a bit as
did.
well. Yeah,
I did. I got to go out there
Awesome.
and sing with kind of their version of the Dapper Dans out there, called the Dockside Porters. I worked at Tokyo Disney Sea, and we worked in the American waterfront area, which was so fantastic because we got off the plane and we had an interpreter there with us. And the interpreter, almost very quickly, they took us right to the park, and they took us right to a meeting with our director. And our director said, would it be okay if you only spoke English? And we said, yes, that would be fine. That would be fine with us, because you were working in the American waterfront area, and it makes sense that you would speak only English. Well, okay, yeah, we're happy to. We can fulfill this creative vision for you. Absolutely.
This creative vision.
Good stuff.
Yeah. So yeah, singing barbershop tunes. They're in Tokyo Disney Sea. They love the barbershop there. Barbershop harmonies.
I have seen a few videos of you casually singing with the Dapper Dans in your street garb. Do you want to tell us a little bit about those experiences?
That was my family was visiting Walt Disney World, and we were set and ready. We were waiting for the parade to come by, and at the time, Dapper Dans would come out, and they would. Now, I had learned the Dapper Dan show. I had been doing it for a couple of years, and at the time, Dapper Dans would kind of do a pre-show stroll down Main Street and just sing for kind of pockets of people all along Main Street. And they were on the other side of the street, and I was just watching, and my sister goes, "We love the Dapper Dans." And they turned around and they came over and like, well, that calls for a song. And they were all set and ready to sing. And then one of the guys goes, he spots me and he goes, a lot of people think that what we do is really difficult. They think that, they see all the tap dancing and the singing and the chimes and everything, but really, truly, I believe we could pull anybody up from the audience. We could pull anybody up from the audience. And I think that they could do what we do. And well, you, sir, why don't you come on up here? And I bet we could show you how to do this. And so they brought me up and handed me the chimes, and I played the part of somebody who had never been a part of any of that before. And then magically out of nowhere, I knew all of the steps and the choreography, and I knew my vocal part, and I knew all the stuff with the chimes. And yeah, it was a fun moment.
I bet there were people who thought you were a plant. They were like, "This was planned the whole
This happens
time.
Every day."
Yeah,
it doesn't.
Kind of like the volunteer from Indiana Jones.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, that's great. So
yeah.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
And this is kind of morphing into, we have listeners who I'm sure are in high school and they're just trying to figure out things to go, whether it's, the arts, entertainment. But I want to kind of hone in on leadership here for a second. Okay. So not everybody can be the boss, right? So, right. But my question is, as a peer, how do you lead amongst your peers?
So, so leadership is a huge topic for me. It was a bunch of years ago. Somebody gave me a free ticket to a leadership conference. And so I went and I sat in the back row. And then the next day I sat a little further up. And before I knew it, I was sitting on the front row with my notebook open, and I just could not get enough. And just the idea of leading well, and with integrity and with inspiration and with great communication and just solid influence, it's something that I've become very passionate about, and it's something that I find incredibly important. A firm belief that I have is that the intersection of leadership and creativity is really where true innovation happens. Not just innovation, but invention happens. And so, so you're going to get me started here on a topic that I'm pretty passionate about. So in regard to your question was, how do you kind of lead your peers? So we have to kind of take a step back and recognize that my favorite definition of leadership is that leadership is influence. And so if we pull it back and go, okay, what is the influence piece? And the way that you gather influence, and the way you hold on to influence, is by doing, being the performer that when we're talking about being on stage and building influence there, it's performing in such a way that that makes everybody else kind of raise their game a little bit.
Yeah.
And that when I show up on stage, I want everybody around me to go, okay, Rob's here, so we need to stand a little taller, move a little faster, think a little quicker, which is not to say that I am always perfect at those things, but I want to, I care a whole lot about the audience. I care a whole lot about the show. I care a whole lot about my part in it. And by doing so, I'm hoping to kind of raise the tide of all of the other ships that are in this harbor with me on stage.
Sure.
And I will say, and before, if any of my friends that are listening, let me be very clear. It is an easy job to lead that way, because everybody that I perform alongside, they all feel that way as well. And so it's not like pulling teeth. It's not really, a difficult, it's not a struggle to get people to want to perform well. But it's just being that steady standard. Hey, we're going to do our best every single show.
Yeah.
And so when you do that, you build influence, and by building influence, then you have that leadership authority, because people are looking at you and to say, well, I don't know, what does Rob think?
Yeah.
And if you spend any time with me, you'll learn that it doesn't take much for me to tell you what I think.
I feel like that mindset, though, really just describes the overall in-park entertainment, though, at Disney World. Is everyone is so passionate about what they're doing, passionate about the guest experience, and wanting to push each other to, build those memories for other people. So, we've talked about other parks in the Orlando area, but with that leadership and that mindset of what sets Disney World apart, what does set the Disney entertainment crew apart from maybe other parks or other forms of entertainment?
Yeah. So first off, we're all friends with each other here in Orlando, and there's a lot. We got Legoland, we got Busch Gardens way down the street, we've got of course we have Universal, and we got SeaWorld, and we've got Fun Spot, and we have, there's just the entire Icon Park, and Disney, of course, and we're all friends. And we all get along, and we help each other. And it is kind of one of those things of, what's good for the competition is good for the brand, and the overall brand of theme park. When people come to Orlando, when Universal opens up something amazing, our numbers go up too at Disney.
Right.
It pushes you guys to
it pushes
improve
us.
and
Exactly.
innovate.
Well, but also, there's an influx of people into Orlando for that new thing at Universal. And so we get a spike in attendance as well down the street at Disney, and vice versa, because, everybody kind of wants to go and experience all of the things that Orlando has to offer. And we love that. So, yes, we're in competition, but I would say it is it's a healthy rivalry. And, one, like you say, it does challenge, we do challenge each other. So, all right. So here's my thought, and not speaking for the company, just speaking for myself, but I do think that there is something to be said for Walt Disney World is the most magical place on earth. And, we are very clear on everybody, when they visit Walt Disney World, should have absolutely a magical experience. And, as one of my directors has said, it's not just magical, it's euphoric. People should, people should have that overwhelming when you round the corner and you see the castle and the music and the smells and the the people that you're there with, and the all of it should put you over the edge of emotional response. And so I think because of that, we set ourselves up to create magical moments, magical experiences. And we set ourselves up in a way that it's like we can make them happen, but also when we screw something up, we can fix it really easily. The other part is, and this is true of all theme park work, but I think it's, we have really zeroed in on this. And this is none of this is a secret, but we have a whole team that is dedicated. It's a team called Entertainment Show Quality. And the team is dedicated and focused. They teach and maintain all of the entertainment of Walt Disney World. And so they will not just you may hear some pops and
Oh, it's about that
things.
time.
It's fireworks time, and I live right behind Magic Kingdom, so you'll hear some explosions and things potentially.
Just proving your point of that euphoric experience.
Exactly. Yeah. So what was I saying? Oh, the Entertainment Show Quality team, they keep an eye on all the shows and parades to make sure that they are meeting the expectation, not just of our creative team and directors and choreographers and designers, but also of our guests. That as our guests come in, there's an expectation of entertainment. And I'm using entertainment with like a lowercase e for Walt Disney World. That all of it is considered entertainment, and so all of us are keeping an eye on that show quality across the board. But I think something that we have gotten really good at is, and I was just having this conversation with somebody the other day. There's a new individual that came on with us for the remounting of the Hoop-Dee-Doo Revue, and we were talking about my show. I've been doing it for so long, and so I have kind of different versions and different things that I do, and I have different moments depending on what the audience does. I have a response for that, and I can kind of pick and choose those things and kind of choose my own adventure show, depending on the time of day, the time of year, and the audience and all of that. And so she was going, how do you she's new, and so she thinks that I'm coming up with all the stuff off the top of my head. And anybody who's been around for a while knows, oh no, Rob has honed these moments, these bits to really make them make them work. And I'll say, oh my god, no, I'm not, I've been working on this for a really long time. You're just now getting here and seeing this. But what you can know is that if I try something and it doesn't quite work, I can make an adjustment and try it again an hour later. And if it doesn't quite work, then I can make an adjustment and try again an hour later. And because we have this repetition of shows and performances, and that I can keep working on it and keep, tweaking it and fixing it. And it's okay, if I speed this part up, or if I, just do a take to the audience right here in this moment, maybe that'll, solidify that laugh. And I work on it and work on it and work on it. And, I use the trolley show as an example a lot, because when it was up and running, they would do that show, multiple times a day, but they would do the routine multiple times within one show. And so if something wasn't quite right on the first time, they would have the ability 4 minutes later to have another go at it.
Right.
And if it wasn't quite right, they could make some tweaks and fixes and changes and everything and get it right 4 minutes later after that. And if they still didn't get it quite right, then the choreographer, maintenance choreographer, or somebody could go to them and say, hey, it looks like you're not quite getting this step 100%. Let's fix it now. And now they're going to go out an hour later and do it all over again and have a whole bunch more runs at it. So when you ask what makes it what makes it different, what makes it special, I think it's like you say, or like you agreed with me, that that we do care so much about the end product. We do care about what we're putting out there as performers, and we want it to be great. And and I'm a big proponent. It shouldn't be the same always, but it should always be great. And so when people come, like I say, it should be the most fun you ever had. And so if we miss the mark on that, it breaks my heart if we miss the mark on if somebody walks out saying, "Yeah, it was okay." No, that's not
Yeah,
okay.
I gotta tell you, like personally for me, like my fondest memories from the parks aren't really the rides. It's most of my old core memories are from show elements.
Sure.
I'll never forget the time I went to the Main Street Barbershop, and as I'm
Yes.
getting my hair cut, the Dapper Dans come in,
Yeah.
and as I'm getting my hair, they're singing. So I
It's
mean,
not too many barbershops in the country. Can you get a barbershop quartet serenade
Quartet.
you while you're getting a
yeah,
haircut?
and a close friend of mine, I won't call her out by name. I don't want to embarrass her, but like, I think it was close to. I think it was right after reopening, and when the dance came back, and she's along Main Street, and she's watching the show, and she just gets really emotional, right? And so she's crying, and the show ends, and she starts and came over to her and said, "Hey, are you okay?" And she goes, "Yeah, it's just it's so good to be back, and I've really missed it." And she was on her way out. They escorted her out of the park. So it's memories like that.
Yeah,
You know,
we had somebody just last night come to Hoop-Dee-Doo, and we were doing the opening number, and I looked down, and she was just sitting there just crying. And I don't know that it's necessarily our show that's making them cry as much as the idea of entertainment being back and these shows being
Yes.
open again. And
Yes.
it's so it's reflective of this time that we all got through together, and now we're at the light at the end of the tunnel. We're in it, and there we
Yeah.
can all experience that. Matt, to go back, there right now we have the 4 keys. We just added a 5th key,
right?
which if you're familiar with the Disney culture, safety, courtesy, show, and efficiency has been where we were, but we added inclusion right there in the middle in the last year or so. And but prior to the keys was the 7 service guidelines. And the 7 service guidelines got whittled down into the 4 keys. So it's all still the same stuff. But within that, one of the 7 service guidelines that I always come back to is thank each and every guest. Thank each and every guest. Every cast member should thank each and every guest. Now, it is well known that when we're running on all cylinders, we have between 60 and 80,000 cast members working at Walt Disney World. I don't know what the latest
Wow.
numbers are, but that's what it was back in the day. And so that's how many people are working there. But we have you can look up the numbers as to how many people are visiting on a regular basis, and that would be impossible for us to keep up with and thanking each and every guest. But if each of us individually as cast members, if each of us thank each and every guest, then each and every guest is going to be thanked eventually. And each and every guest is going to have that experience. Now, I take it a step further and I say, okay, create a moment for each and every guest whenever you possibly can. And so as guests are coming and going from the parks and experiencing our shows, to personalize a moment for them, give them something special that only they get. And if every cast member is doing something special whenever they can, wherever they can, for whomever they can, then everybody will get that experience of having a magical moment at Walt Disney World.
Right.
And the math does work out. It just takes some effort on our part.
Well, talking about things being back, we talked about it on our show. There was just a gaping hole for the longest time without the shows, without the, in-person live entertainment, without those moments being made, because, the rest of us who've been before, we're kind of just coasting through our memories. Everyone else is just riding awesome rides, but it's that human touch that makes Walt Disney World so special. So I don't think we could put into words what the various forms of in-park entertainment, what those cast members really add to the whole park experience.
Well, I'm going to avoid getting too much on my soapbox right now, but but I will say I think that it is those those moments throughout the day that make you laugh, those moments throughout the day that give you the warm fuzzies, those moments throughout the day that make you, pull your kid a little closer, and you smile and you make those memories together. And those moments are typically, and not only, but typically those moments are initiated through entertainment, through the entertainment of Walt Disney World, whether it's a
Agreed.
parade or a show, something atmosphere or something on stage. Those moments are created there. And what people want from those moments are mementos to go with those moments, to remember them. And so it has been said just about entertainment in general, not just Walt Disney World, but entertainment in general, that it's hard. We are a cost. We are not a profit center. We cost money. We don't make money. And
Yeah.
so it has been said, you can't draw a straight line between entertainment and profit. And I disagree. You can draw a straight line between entertainment and profit, because if we're doing our job right and we're getting those laughs from, when dad laughs for the first time on vacation and everybody in the family goes, we can relax now.
Oh my gosh.
Dad's
Yeah.
having a good time. And
The phone's on silent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just those warm, fuzzy moments, and those, just the moments that happen in the shows and the parades and the atmosphere entertainment. When those moments happen, people go, I need something to remember this with. And that's where the, hey, let's get some ice cream before the parade starts. And let's get some t-shirts and some things to remember our time here. Yeah, let's get some fun hats and to make note of this, to mark this time that this is when we were here and we did this. So I agree. I think that there's something that is missing when you don't have entertainment prominently displayed in the parks. And I say entertainment with a capital E. That I feel pretty strongly about that. Obviously,
Yeah, I'm convinced it's one of the key elements of getting people back, or just those experiences.
Well, and because like we've been saying this, it's kind of a reoccurring theme that's what makes it different every time. And Tower of Terror is always going to be the same. It's going to be the same experience. Well, the drop shaft changes, but overall, maybe I should say, Carousel of Progress is always going to be the same. It's always going to be the same. And if it's not the same, then something has gone horribly wrong, and that we'll all get to experience on YouTube. But but the entertainment, live entertainment, takes the audience into account, and the audience gets to play a part. We always talk about we have 6 people on stage at the Hoop-Dee-Doo Revue, and the 7th member of our cast is the audience. They let us know, hey, speed up for this part or slow down. Let us enjoy this moment. Oh, you like this kind of joke? We'll do more of that. You like this kind of music? We'll do more of that. And they're an interactive, absolutely necessary part of what we are doing. And so, and then in turn, the shows, the parades, all of that stuff are going to change every time, because the audience changes. And I agree with you. People come back because they want to they're chasing that first time experience again.
Right. For sure. Well, as we wrap up, I want to talk a little bit about, I know, I mean, look, I could go on for hours.
I know. Well, we genuinely will need to have you back on and just dive into. I feel like we could do another music episode. It's been a while.
I mean,
since we've
Voices
done that,
of Liberty, Voice of Kate. I mean, gosh.
Maybe I can talk her into coming on the show.
We would not say no.
Okay.
We would not say anything. We would just let you guys sing the whole time. We would just sit here listening.
But yeah, as we wrap up, tell us a little bit about Blue Trumpet Creative.
Oh yeah, Blue Trumpet Creative was born, as so many companies were, out of the pandemic. So I did a thing when we all thought that it was just going to be 2 weeks off. And I had some extra time, and a lot of my friends were still are high school theater teachers and college theater professors, and I just put out there into the world, hey, teachers, what are you working on? How can I help? I have some extra time, and you're trying to figure out how to do this remote learning, remote teaching. So if I can help fill some time for you, as an educational piece, do some Q&A about entertainment in the real world, and how I develop characters and rehearsal technique and all that kind of stuff. If I can help you out with that, let me know. And so that question of what are you working on and how can I help? What are you working on? How can I help? What are you working on? How can I help? It grew into where people were going, hey, yeah, we would love to have your help, and we'll pay you to do this. And before I knew it, I was like, oh my goodness, I need to be fiduciarily responsible for
Mhm.
for what's happening.
Right.
And so I started a company, and the company is called Blue Trumpet Creative. And I'll be happy at some point to tell you why it's called Blue Trumpet Creative. I'll say this: if you hire Blue Trumpet Creative, I'll be glad to tell you the story, all for free. But Blue Trumpet Creative is coaching, consulting, and creative development. And the coaching part has ended up being a lot of like kind of applying the principles of auditioning, what I've been doing a lot of lately, principles of auditioning, applying that to job interviews.
Mm.
And so, there's things that we do as performers before, during, and after an audition. And those same principles very often can come into play for people who are looking to land kind of their dream job. And so I've been helping people out with that, as well as just kind of the leadership and creativity coaching. So that drifts also into the consultation piece, where
Mm.
there's a lot of companies that aren't necessarily known for creativity, but they want to have kind of a creative edge to them. And so I kind of help bring creativity to leaders and leadership to creativity. And so I've long said, you can have been to all of the conferences, read all of the books, listened to all the podcasts on leadership, have all the influence in the world, but if you have nothing new to say, then what good is that leadership skill, right?
Sure.
Right.
And then flipping it, if you can be crazy creative, just you have no ability to think inside the box, and you are all the time, just your hands are moving, you're making stuff happen all the time, but you don't have the influence and ability to get those things done with and alongside and through other people, then what good is that creative? So helping creative organizations with their leadership, and helping leadership organizations with their creativity. So that's what the consultation piece is. And then the creative development for me is just the catch-all of everything else that I want to do. I took a look back of all of the things that I've been paid to do, of directing and creating and writing, and I said, okay, I can kind of put it all in this bucket of creative development and still get to do those things. So we got to plan a proposal, a marriage proposal that was super fun. If you look at Blue Trumpet Creative on YouTube, you can see that marriage proposal. And this guy came to me and he said, I've been dating this girl, and I want to ask her this really important question, and she is really creative and really talented and really smart, and I'm none of those things. Can you please help? And
Aw.
so we did, and we created a really great moment for them. But yeah, just making creative moments happen. And I learned recently about myself. I want to create unforgettable experiences for people. And I love doing that. I get a high from it. I get a charge from it. And so Blue Trumpet Creative is assisting me in getting that done.
And if people wanted to
Amazing.
get a hold of you for Blue
Mhm.
Trumpet Creative, where would they be able to find
BlueTrumpetCreative.com. Everything is spelled exactly the way that you think it should be. And and then it'll kind of lead you through a series of steps. Do you want the coaching? Do you want the consulting? Do you want the creative development? Let me know. And when people go, what is creative development? And I'm able to say, if you have that idea, just that inkling, that beginning of an idea, but you don't necessarily know the next steps to take, I can help you with that.
Fantastic. And
Yeah.
then you're also a podcaster, and you have
Mhm.
a wonderful podcast with your
Yes.
sister. Can
Yeah,
we talk about that just very briefly
of
as we
course.
close out?
Yeah, again, something that was born out of the pandemic. My sister and I was looking for. I have it's on hiatus right now, but I have a podcast called the Leading Creative Podcast, and I was keeping up with that and doing that. But that's a little bit more evergreen content.
Mm.
And I wanted to have a podcast that I could talk about kind of the goings on, the events of the day and what was going on regularly. And I remembered seeing a meme that said, tag that somebody that you would always get in trouble for laughing at church with. And immediately I thought of my sister, and immediately I went, I wonder if she would want to do a podcast with me. My sister is an incredibly talented author, and she has 1,900 books published, and she's her own books, as well as she's a ghostwriter for a bunch of other people, and some of her stuff has been, in fact, on the New York Times bestselling list. And so you may have actually read her stuff, not even knowing that it was her. Anyway, so she is a deep thinker and just a fascinating person. If I wasn't related to her, I would want to figure out how to be friends with her, because she's just incredible. Anyway, so we started a podcast together called Let's Talk Soon. And the tagline is that it's all the things that we are reading about, writing about, thinking about, and speaking up about. And so we just kind of go through that, and hey, let's have a conversation about what we're reading about, what we're writing about, what we're thinking about, and what we're speaking up about. And we're having a whole lot of fun with that. And yeah, it's going well.
Awesome. Well, I mean, Rob, this has been an absolute pleasure. Everyone, please go check out his content, whether it's with Blue Trumpet Creative, whether it's his podcast. Go see him at the Hoop-Dee-Doo.
I was about to say, or in person. Yes, now that we can do that again. Yes.
Absolutely.
Purple pinstripes every once in a while. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we're about to switch to the fall colors. There with the Dapper Dans.
Yeah. I can't
that's
believe
coming up.
that. It's already.
I know.
Have you ever done
August, essentially?
Are you ever going to do Cadaver Dance? That's my question.
Yeah, I am. That's something. Yeah, that's also something that I get to do during the holiday time when that's appropriate. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, actually, I think I'm. If anybody's going to be there, I think I'm doing the opening party.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So if any of your listeners are going to be there,
okay. September 16th is the party we're going to. So I'll definitely have to check it out.
I'll be around. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know my dates that far out just yet, but yeah.
Cool. Well, Rob, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
we really appreciate it. This has been a pleasure.
This has been great. Thank you.
So, well, everyone, that is going to do it for tonight's episode. And patrons, reminder, right after the show, we are having our monthly trivia. It is Pixar themed, right, Susie? Yes, Pixar themed.
Yes, and that's live. We'll be real there. We will not be simulated for our patrons.
We will be live. So patrons, come join us for that. And if you haven't subscribed to the podcast, you can find us. We are on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, wherever you like to listen to your favorite podcasts. You can find us by searching for the ImgaineEarsDisney podcast. Leave us a review. Tell us what you love about the show. And we look forward to coming at you next week with another episode. But until then, friends, remember, if you can dream it, you can do it. Bye-bye.
There's really no secret about our approach. We keep moving forward, opening up new doors, doing new things, because we're curious. And curiosity keeps leading us down new paths. We're always exploring and experimenting.